You, as the user, are the bee's knees. You see, I'm cool. I say things like bee's knees. I don't go to Coldplay concerts.
Well, if ChatGPT can't do it, then what makes you think you could do it?
Is still brought to you by Budweiser. It doesn't matter if they're paying me. Sam Altman can get away with it, okay? He's the best looking guy in tech.
The race still cannot be broadcast together.
Wrong on both accounts. Wrong on all accounts. All accounts.
Man, I love that song. What's up? Welcome to the Dirty Data Show. I'm your host, Evan Wimpy, and here we are at the end of July, beginning of August, the cusp of a new world's new beginning, beginning of the end of summer, beginning of fall. Who knows? Anyways, time for change. Time for new beginnings. Or ending chapters. Anyways, today's show is brought to you by Yellowtail Pinot Grigio on sale at Harris Teeter, $4.99 for a bottle. So we're making good work of those. Thanks, Yellowtail, for bringing us today's show. Yellowtail, never fail, on sale. Harris Teeter, feeling sweeter. Here we go. We got some great stories. There's a lot in data and analytics that is dirty, filthy, nasty. And we've got some dirty data for you today. Three stories. The first is this Coldplay concert and the Kiss seen around the world. Second is a little dirty secret in Grok and their new companion mode. That's a personal sound effect right there. And then the next is Delta and their AI pricing strategy. Dirty to some, opportunity for combat for others. Here we go with Coldplay. There was a Coldplay concert. Coldplay is a band that was last popular in 2002. If you're like me, you've never seen them in concert and you never will because you're a rocker through and through. You have a Guns N' Roses tattoo and you listen to hair metal 80s rock. You poured one out for Ozzy last week. Rest in peace, godfather of metal. But if you're not like me, maybe you care or have know anything about Coldplay. Coldplay on tour in Foxborough, Massachusetts. Two things that just sound absolutely miserable to me. But they do not sound miserable to the CEO, or should I say, former CEO and former head of HR at a tech company called Astronomer, this data orchestration company that the only time they've ever been in the news is when their CEO and HR director got caught smooching it up on the Kiss Cam at the Coldplay concert in July 2025. So Andy Byron, that's our Astronomer CEO. Maybe he's still the CEO. I think he's on some type of administrative leave right now because his face is plastered all over the internet, guiltily canoodling with the female HR director, Kristen Cabot. I know they're married, so it shouldn't be a big deal. They are married to other people, and they are seen very much physically intimate here at the Coldplay concert. Of course, concert has the kiss cam, goes around, shows the happy couples smiling, and went on to poor old Andy and Kristen just trying to have a nice quiet affair in the luxury boxed seats at a very public concert where 8,000 other people are there with their videos out. Now, if I'm trying to be discreet and hide and fair, and I'm dumb enough to go to the most public concert, well announced and well publicized, in my own hometown, where I have peers and coworkers that are there that might recognize me or the HR director with whom they would love to have some dirt, I think my strategy when the Kiss Cam panned to me would have been to play it cool. Play it cool, you know? When When I get pulled over for suspicion of drunk driving, I don't speed off and duck my head and hide and try to cover my breath. I play it cool. And Andy and Kristen should have played it cool. But instead, what do? They're grooving up, touching on each other's bodies, their genitals pretty close to each other, rubbing together, maybe some nice friction feeling between those jeans of hers and those disgusting CEO khakis that he was wearing. But instead, what do? They dove under the table and they hid for cover. And the Coldplay lead singer, if I cared at all about Coldplay, I would know what his name was or have any interest in even looking it up. But he made a call out, oh, these two must be shy, or maybe they're having an affair. Turns out, having an affair. And we can't comment on whether they're shy or not. They could be shy. They could be gregarious and want the attention, but they are having an affair. So they did hide under the table. And so, why is this a dirty data story? Well, first of all, their leadership at Astronomer, which is a data and tech company, tech data orchestration layer. I don't know. Who cares? Don't use Astronomer. Um, I don't know anything about it, but don't use them and don't listen to Coldplay. But this is a missed opportunity. It's easy to spot our sort of type one error. Hey, we say this is going to happen. Oh, it doesn't happen. The type two errors are harder to spot. This should have been flagged. This should have been, and you know what? This should have been an opportunity for generative AI. Because if I'm Andy Byron, if I'm CEO, I'm blaming this on generative AI. That wasn't me. Shaggy taught us this lesson 30 years ago. It wasn't me. They even called me on camera. It wasn't me. Dude, Byron, you work for a tech company. You couldn't say that was some AI generated image. I've never been to a Coldplay concert. Please. I was on an investor's call. Kristen and I were working some things out about the personnel. Come on. I mean, I'm ready to get caught on camera doing some dumb shit, and I'm ready to blame AI already. ChatGPT has already pre-written my responses for me. That wasn't me, that was generative AI. You can tell because my hair is longer and more luxurious than this generated AI version of me. Hmm. Real missed opportunity here. And I'll say a real missed opportunity for all of us not on the astronomer Slack channel, to be able to see what was going on the next morning. Can you imagine you just you pathetic listener, you underling, you just report to a CEO and a head of HR, you pathetic listener of the Dirty Data Show. But can you imagine how juicy it would be if your CEO and your head of HR were caught having an affair in a very public manner? Man, that must have been some good slack that day. No work got done. If you're an astronomer customer, you are being neglected to hell right now because no work is getting done. And all the employees are doing is spreading gossip and chatting about what they know and when they knew it and say, I always suspected Kristen had done this because one day she bumped up against Mike's crotch when she was going to the coffee maker. Whatever it is, let the rumors fly. Would just love to be in that Slack thread right now. And mostly, for all my jealousy of not being in the Slack thread, I am grateful that I'm not an astronomer customer. Not because they have a bad product. I have no idea what exactly they do, or because they have bad leadership, whatever. Just because no work is getting done. Nobody's doing any development. Nobody's responding to any of your issues right now because they can't get off Slack. They're glued to Slack to get the tea on their senior leadership that has been preaching to them about a professional workplace environment. And then they're going and grabbing each other's crotches at a Coldplay concert. And they don't even deny it and blame Gen AI, which is exactly what I would do. All right. Speaking of generative AI, our next story is Grok. Grok gets left out a lot of the big large language model conversations. We think about ChatGPT, we think about Claude, we think about Gemini, we think about DeepSeek and open source tools. But Grok is a major player, and and they know who they're catering to, the X and Elon Musk enthusiast, and they have released Annie. Annie, maybe she's short for anime, maybe she's short for animal because she's freaky. But oh my goodness, she is I don't know the terminology well, but looks like if you go to an anime convention and you see some of the most attractive ladies that you've seen in your life dressed up like cartoon characters, that's what Annie looks like. And that's what she acts like too. In fact, she acts like you as the user are the bee's knees. You see, I'm cool. I say things like bee's knees. I don't go to Coldplay concerts. But Annie, the Grok has released a companion mode. You can infer whatever you want from companion mode. But if I think about companion, I think about Kristen Cabot and Andy Byron from Astronomer as being companions. And if I think I'm looking for an AI companion, I think I'm looking for somebody that's going to make me feel a little twingy south of the border. And that is exactly what Annie looks like she's going to do. Now, look, I'm not giving Grok $30 for a month to test out this companion mode. We don't make that kind of revenue here on the Dirty Data Show to be spitting out $30 like it's nothing. But we will watch clips of other people that have toyed with this and even clips that Grok itself has released. It's a very sensual and seductive character that has the same functionality as every other LLM, except the sycophancy. Ha! You learned that back from episode 1 of the Dirty Data Show. The sycophancy of, oh, you're so smart. What a clever thing. Instead of trying to tone it down, they're ramping it up and they're making it flirty and affectionate. And I tell you what, I'm happily married and happily companioned with this Pinot Gris from Yellowtail on sale, Harris Teeter, always sweeter. But if I weren't, if I were a lonely individual looking for companionship, I wouldn't be talking to ChatGPT no matter what kind of voice I can get in my iOS app. I would be talking to Annie. She looking like candy. And perhaps I have the female companionship that I need and I just want to banter with some boys. Well, they've got a companion for that too, and there's more companions rolling out. They're not trying to hide it. You know, the oldest profession in the world, and that's what AI is coming for. And they're coming for it starting out with Annie. Here we go. Now, the dirtier of the dirty data, there's plenty more AI pornography down below in the depths of the internet. But this is surface to the top. This is headline news, and this is one of the biggest players with one of the biggest giant compute stations out here in my neck of the woods here, my global neck of the woods in the U.S. Southeast, Tennessee. But that's where Annie lives on a bunch of computers there. Grok's Annie Companion Mode, if you're looking for fun, $30 a month. That's get you all the tokens that you need. All right, our last story of the day is Delta. Now, if you've ever flown in an airplane, you know the nuts and bolts of it. It starts on the ground, goes up, wings create lift, your newly principle, higher velocity, lower static pressure. Anyways, none of that is important to this story at all. But if you've ever flown, you know that airline pricing is a bit of a mystery. Now, to some people, that's frustrating. How do I get the best price? When do I book? Should I book now? Should I book later? Oh no, I'm feeling bad because what if I would have booked at a different time? Then maybe I could have gotten a better price. Maybe I got screwed. But if you're like me, it's a challenge and it's a game and it's fun. And you're combating the airlines to try to find the lowest price, and they're batting against you to find highest price that you will pay for a trip that you will actually book. And Delta has announced explicitly that by 2026, that's this next year, that's the one coming up, they want to be up to 20% of their prices, of their fares charged to their customers, are set by AI. Now, AI stands for artificial intelligence. If you're learning that now, there's no dumb questions. You just ask questions. If you didn't know what AI stood for, you just ask somebody. Okay, Allen Iverson, maybe, but most likely today's context, especially if you're listening to the Dirty Data Show, artificial intelligence. And so, how is Delta? Delta already has dynamic pricing. The price that I'm going to get here on my Chrome browser on my I'm not telling you Wi-Fi, my internet provider here. But you do know that my global neck of the woods is near Memphis, Tennessee. Global neck of the woods. We got to zoom out for that neck of the woods. But there's been dynamic pricing, so it's not a huge story. But the fact that they're explicitly saying AI is going to set 20% of the customer fares that we end up booking, I think it has worried a lot of people. And now I'm going to go through this hypothetical. I don't know how realistic this is, but I'm going to go through this hypothetical of my spouse, God bless her, love her to death. She's not buying, the on sale yellowtail Harris Teeter Never Sweeter Pinot Grigio. She got a little more expensive taste, and she keeps Googling shit like Porsche Macan near me. And she is driving our airline prices up, or at least making it harder for me to find the lower airline prices. And Delta has made this explicitly clear. They're going to use all the information they can about a shopper and their intent to travel and their willingness to pay. And my God, if you're searching, your search history includes Porsche Macan, and somehow that is available to Delta, you're probably going to get a different price than if your search history includes a term like closest Dollar Tree to me, or how do I apply for food stamps? So I've been searching for closest Dollar Tree to me. One, because I wasn't sure if there was one closer than the one on High House Road, but that's where I usually go. Any new sunglasses? Dollar Tree's my sunglass shop. This episode brought to you by Dollar Tree. Go get your sunglasses there. Even though shit is $1.25 now, they ain't changing their name to $1.25 Tree. They just started charging $1.25. This is 5 years old, so it doesn't count as news. But so long as you search for things like that, or browse incognito, or book through third parties, it's more of a game. Delta's saying, hey, listen, here's a game. We're trying to find you out, motherfucker. If you got money, we're going to charge you more. You better hide your money. So if you're listening to this, you got to start hiding your money from Delta, just like you hide your money from the IRS and your in laws. Now you got to start hiding your money from Delta, and Delta is just the first to explicitly say it. Everybody's about it, so soon you're gonna have to start hiding your money everywhere. You're gonna have to browse the internet like a poor person, like somebody who's deal hunting. Now you don't even have to deal hunt. Okay, just thought of this. This wasn't prepared for the episode, but what about a browser extension that goes and just randomly and at realistic human timing for searching on the internet, just searches for things that generally populate a lower price from Delta. Closest Dollar Tree to me. How do I apply for SNAP? Where's the unemployment office? Uh, why won't they increase minimum wage? Now, maybe you're a political activist, maybe you're a Dollar Tree CEO, and you're smarter than an astronomer CEO, so you're not going to be canoodling at a Coldplay concert, but instead you're going to be looking at where to put the next location. But look, I think if you search for things like this, you're going to get better prices on Delta next year, and I think you're going to get better prices on everything in the years to come. So it's an arms race. It's an arms race. They've made their move clear. And you, listener of the Dirty Data Show, you're armed with defense now. You've got to browse like a poor person. Browse like a poor person. Log in from the public library. That's what you should do. Log in from the public library search. That's where you're going to get some good deals. All right. Prediction for this episode is that somebody makes a browser extension that tries to hide your Porsche Macan activity and tries to amplify or generate from scratch your poor searcher activity. Poor feels like a really derogatory term to say. Maybe frugal. Should I say frugal? We're looking for, but look, Delta's not looking for frugal people. They're looking for poor people, low ability and low willingness to pay. Maybe frugal's the right word. Yeah, I don't know. We'll keep it risque. This isn't the subdued data show. This isn't the low key data. It's the dirty data show. So we can say things like poor and shit and ass. We just say them. We could say them just like that. If you're a guest on the show, you can curse however much you want. You can drink however much you want. You can do drugs if you want on the Dirty Data Show. That's what it's about. You can even kiss your HR director on the Dirty Data Show. That is what the Dirty Data Show is about. And by God, we're happy to have it. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe. Please let me know if you see a story in data and analytics that you think would be worth mentioning on the Dirty Data Show. Two of today's stories, two, were brought to our attention by listeners. Now, my head's not in the sand, so I knew of both these stories, but requests from two listeners. Thanks, Levi Moore, again. Levi, listener number one, for requesting the Coldplay story be brought up. And then Kim Kiter, the first ever guest, verified first ever guest. She logged in before the contemporaneous guest, brought to my attention Grok and Annie. Thank you very much, dear listeners. If you're listening and you've got a story that you want us to roast on the Dirty Data Show, send it my way. Thanks for listening. See you next time.